The Contracts and Property Committee meeting is called to order. What time is it, Dr. Guy?
6:38.
6:38 p.m. Dr. Guy, if you will be so kind as to call the roll, please.
Counselor Stevenson.
Present.
Counselor Smith.
Present.
Yes, Counselor Martin.
Present.
And Counselor Austin.
Right, present.
Law Director Willingham is present for the administration.
We'll now have remarks of the public on agenda items only. 2 minutes, please. Remarks of the public on agenda items only for 2 minutes per person.
As far as what we're gonna do with the
We're gonna get to legislation, sure. But if you wanna have just general discussion about whatever you come up with, cool, but if not, okay, great. Okay. We're gonna talk about the 1-year action plan for the Community Development Block Grant Fund. And there's a process by which, we just got a few seconds of discussion about what Community Development Block Grant Funding is. I'm sure you all know what that is, right?
You can give us a definition.
Okay. Community Development Block Grant Funding is the funding that the government gives to each municipality to assist them in executing some of their sustainment, whether it's for housing, home improvement, economic development, or community development. And that allows you to fix up your houses, that allows us to get the street lights, keep the street lights on, get the roads fixed. When I say fix them, I'm talking about resurfaced as required. These are the things this is the dollar that the administration uses to plan out what they're gonna do to keep us a viable and thriving city. So it's a myriad of things that these dollars can be used for. And the council is ultimately responsible for approving the release of these dollars to execute certain things. The administration comes up with the plan, and we approve the funds to make those things happen. And what we've been doing over the last few years is getting feedback from our residents. You know, and it's been up and down, but we want our residents to assist us in determining where the needs are, because where you are is where the rubber truly meets the road. Because we don't, as cool as we are and as smart as Councilor Martin is with his multiple years of service, you know, he won't know what's going on your block or on your street, or if a tree is about to fall in another street and hurt a young person, or if there's a house that needs to be demolished because it's in such disrepair, or it has become a haven for people that, you know, want to do us harm or do our children harm. So these are the dollars that can help us resolve some of those issues. So it is imperative that you let your voice be heard. And to do so, we have a survey that's ongoing right now in our community development office downstairs at the bottom of the steps at City Hall on the first floor in the housing department. They will provide you a copy of that survey where your voice can be heard, and you can put forth the suggestion of what the dollar should be used for, as well as provide, you know, not the way it is now, but the way you'd like to see it in the future. So whether it's lights, sidewalks, street lights on your side street, the primary street lights, a signal that's not clear, a missing sign at the corner of your block that this is my street, and that sign is missing. Be that known, so those things can be easily resolved with the Community Development Block Grant Fund, and the right input will give us a better output. And obviously, it's only so many dollars. Everything may not be done in year one, but at least we put together a plan that would go out, you know, hopefully 5 years in advance, so we'll know these are the things we need to do, and that every year we're going to get better. Because something's going to get checked off the list based on your input. And please complete those surveys. It's worth the trip to City Hall, even if you come for your block. Get enough surveys for your block, fill it out as a block, bring it back, and those surveys will be considered for how we go. Because obviously we want to get the most bang for our buck. I see some. We're going to step out
I
of
have a
this.
street light that's been out since 2004,
Okay.
and I have
What
been
street is
asking for
that?
them, it's on Fernwood,
On Fernwood.
and I've been asking for them to replace it since then.
Where's Fernwood? Where's that
It's
located?
right off of Euclid, you know, Wellesley, Mount Union, that's Fernwood is the back side street.
What-
Over by, in the parking lot of, Stephanie Tubbs Jones.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, but it's been out
That's
since
Ward 2.
2004.
That's 3 or 2.
That's two start.
That's Ward 2.
two.
It's
Okay,
yeah.
okay, right, so,
Is adjacent to Stephanie Tubb Jones, right? Right in the back there, that back street there,
Back street,
right.
yeah.
Okay,
Right.
Yep,
okay. So we just got a shipment of street light poles. Is the pole present? And is there a fixture that just doesn't
everything
operate?
is gone.
Everything is gone, so we just got a new shipment of poles. And what we asked is there any street lights on your block at all?
Yeah, that's the one that's missing, that makes the whole street dark. And
Okay.
it's been dark for this one, or 20 years.
Since 2004,
It's
you
going
said,
on
right?
20 years?
It's going
Wow.
on 20 years.
You're
Yeah, well, 4 more years
patient.
it'll be-
So what I ask that you do is,
All my neighbors are scared for me because I'm right on that corner.
okay, I gotta know.
Keep my porch
and-
light on, but you know, that's not lighting up the whole street.
Right, so what the administration has advised is their priorities of work, just so you know, what they wanted to do is based on the number of polls that they receive, if there are 20 streets without a light at all, those first 20 polls would give each of those 20 streets one light. And then they come around a second, so that way everybody gets the benefit for, based on limited resources. So I will make the note, and the law director's taking notes for the mayor. So they have the information, and now it's a matter of making sure we prioritize
I
that.
think the address is 13712.
Okay. Okay, right, so, just so we know, there is a process by which that we're trying to, illuminate the whole city in a methodical fashion, like it's very deliberate, so we can kind of get the most bang for our buck. Limited resources, the most bang, so everybody won't be dark at the same time, or, slowly but surely we will be in a light, but not as fast as we would like, but there's a process, okay? As far as community development block grant dollars, there's a process that we're gonna get to allow us to see where those dollars are going and dictate or have a greater say in where they go. Keeping in mind that there's been some plans already in place, so we're looking at years out so we can kind of get our needs met. Okay?
I have a
Anybody?
question.
Yes.
So, I know they took a lot away from the city, as far as like Euclid and a lot of the hills, the stoplights and stuff. I know they put those back, some of those back, right?
There is, some of them two of them have already come back. We were just granted some dollars to do a pedestrian study to see if the state government can provide us some dollars for crosswalks. Where should those crosswalks be installed based on, migration patterns and, lack of traffic control signals. So no, all those traffic control signals are not coming back. So that's what I'm sharing.
Hey, there's a
We
few of
want
them, I know
to learn and grow.
a lot of them was too many of them, and a lot of them weren't working, but
Right.
I know it's dangerous.
It is dangerous.
Very, very dangerous, because now instead of just stopping at the stop sign trying to get on Euclid Avenue, the person walking through the crosswalk looking down, and people on the left watch them and get watch on oncoming traffic, so, it's it's gonna be like, hit or miss at times.
There
It's
is
gonna be dangerous. There's a lot of accidents I've seen on my street, so.
What's your street?
Coit Avenue.
Where?
Coit,
Coit.
yeah.
Here.
there is a plan to see what we can do to make pedestrian travel safer. Once this study is complete, we'll see what the Ohio Department of Transportation and their study team or whatever analysis comes out of that, and then we'll see how to best use the resources we're going to assist us in getting those things covered. There's no fix it this way, bring back all those traffic lights that make sense, we should stop 3 times right from the thing off.
Yeah, listen, I know that definitely ain't, you gotta redo it.
Right, so we are gonna get some new crosswalks, and then we're gonna get some additional pedestrian crosswalks to allow the travel whether it's Stephanie Tubbs Jones, where they go back and forth to Wendy's, back and forth.
Right.
That might be a good place to at least put the paint on the road so they know people cross right here. Watch
Well,
out.
a flasher.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, so we did get our first flasher, am I correct?
We said it came.
Right, so we got our first flasher, and now we just want to make sure that if we only got one, we need 10. We're the first place where we can provide some additional pedestrian safety.
Oh, it definitely.
It hasn't been,
Sure.
it hasn't been started.
No, it's not. We're trying to see where we can put that for the best bang for the buck, with only one so far.
Yeah, it definitely changed the dynamics of the streets.
Okay. And,
I've been in these streets since I was a baby, so I know it's like safety time around here, so it's dangerous.
Okay, I do have one more note. You may not have the opportunity to come on yesterday, but we talked about some of the things that, some of the other initiatives that are in place to allow us to have a more safe city, whether it's actually assigning 2 patrol officers that are specific to just traffic control in the city. That keeps the speed. I don't know if you've seen them out there lately, but they're out there actually, stopping folks.
Oh, yeah.
And, doing some of the things that regain that respect, so you won't feel like you gotta blaze through East Cleveland as fast as your car can go. So these are things that we're putting in place, as well as, I'll let my colleagues, talk about some of the other initiatives, so I don't necessarily have to control the conversation. I want to share some of your thoughts about some of the other things that could possibly help with safety among you.
Well, you talked about the installation of the light. I don't know if you guys been over by University Hospital where they got the yellow light that blinks. We're gonna get some of them. We talked about the ODOT study, to help to get the crosswalk. So that's, I also would anticipate or suggest that the 2 officers that Mr. Austin alluded to, possibly we may get 2 more, but I think it depends on if we generate the revenue together. All right.
No, you basically covered everything.
Yeah.
I would just ask for our citizens not to get in harm's way, but keep an extra eye and ear open for our youngsters and for our, really for everybody, but mainly for our youngsters and for our elders and for our women crossing the street or just being out there, period. But you basically covered it, the crosswalk that we got in, the new study that we just got funded for, the 2 lights that went back up.
I got a question. About the service bid, now is the 24th of January.
They're still accepting service.
Okay.
They are. So I had a couple of notes I wanted to share. Prior to the meeting, myself and a couple of residents actually had just a brief conversation. I asked them, do they know what this is the contracting committee, and I wanted to kind of share some of the terminology as it pertains to contracting moving forward. I said, well, do you know what the acronym SECA stands for? And, I think they got some of the information right, but I think they understood what the definition was, the Competition and Contracting Act. And what that act does is meant to make sure there's fair and open competition for contracts within the city. And having fair and open competition with contract will give us a better value. And that doesn't necessarily mean the cheapest, but the best value. Because the cheapest ain't always the best. Cheapest makes you do it twice when you should only have to do it once to get it right. And in competition and contracting, that means that, you have to post it accordingly in a way that's standard. Like there's a website that's fedbidops.gov. And if you are a entrepreneur looking for government contracts, that's one of the places that the government recommends that you go out and look for government opportunities to be successful. And as a city that requires some entrepreneurial mindset in order to grow and thrive, then having fair and open competition is a must. And you'll hear that again, because if there's not fair and open competition from the government, I'm not going to sit back and be okay with that. Okay, so I want y'all to understand what some of the, because that's actually a law. It's a law. So in the Anti-Kickback Act, anybody know what that means? Anybody want to talk about that? Just a couple of definitions on the way. So, Anti-Kickback Act talks about if you have a product that's worthy of presenting to a governmental agency, all of the proceeds for the product and the resources that are provided from that product should go back to you as the proprietor, not to any other person, regardless of whether you agree or disagree with it. If they select you as the provider for a service or any good, then you don't owe them nothing. Nothing. And if they do accept you something because they work to deal with you, then there's a law for that. Bring it on back up to City Hall, to our law director, and make sure you inform the council, and we're going to take care of that. Okay, so this is contracting, and we're going to make sure that we do things in this committee the way they're supposed to be done. And we need your help. Okay, so those are my 2 definitions for this meeting. We're going to move on. Okay. Dr. Guy, any other councils have anything else? Okay.
Okay,
Move
resolution.
on to legislation.
Resolution number 02-20, a resolution authorizing the mayor to transfer to Pamela O'Neill at a total cost of $25 a parcel of vacant land held by the city as part of this land utilization program and located at 1838 Wesley, East Cleveland, Ohio 44112, permanent parcel number 672-20029. Requested by Building and Housing and sponsored by Timothy R. Austin, Council at Large.
Miss, are you here right now? Come on up, ma'am. Miss O'Neill, tell us what you're gonna use this property for.
Basically to clean up the neighborhood. They always let the grass grow up to here,
Okay.
so I got a landscaper that's doing my yard, so I want him to keep that yard up as well. Put a fence around it, and just make it like a community.
Okay.
Just make the neighborhood look nice.
Have you already
You said
said
a community garden
Kind of,
in your
yeah.
application?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Okay,
it.
so-
People ain't too lazy.
Okay.
It'll be there for them if they want to.
You say, is it already acting as a garden right now, or is that something you're gonna put your resources in once it's yours?
Yeah.
But right now, you are cutting and maintaining a lot.
No, I want to.
You want
Yeah,
to?
Just the city come by maybe once or something, one time in the summertime
Okay,
and do it, but
okay. So you're gonna make a community garden? And that means that somebody else besides you gonna come and enjoy the garden, or
if
is
they
it
want to,
flowering
bring it
or
over
vegetable?
for
I'm just asking, is it flowering garden or vegetable?
both,
Flowering and vegetable, okay,
whatever they want to plant, yeah.
okay.
I
I'm
want to
gonna,
like fence it off too, so that, people won't go and trample it.
okay. And you're gonna pay for that fence?
Yeah.
You got an estimated timeline when you're gonna, realize that?
No, not yet.
Okay, so it's my recommendation that resources available, that you do something with it soon. We don't want you to buy a lot and hold on to it for a long time. We actually want you
Yeah, I
to
want to make sure it's
realize the
mine
vision
before I
that you
start
have.
making plans.
Say again?
I want to make sure it's mine before I start making
Right,
plans.
and I'm just asking these questions because we don't want you to get the lot and just kind of sit on it for 10 years.
Oh, no,
We
no,
have the
that's-
same situation. We got, only thing that would change would be from the city's land bank, if you will,
No.
into your land bank, and you just sit on it. Okay, we don't want that.
Me
Okay,
either.
all right. Anything, Madam Vice President?
No.
I just say thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Miss O'Neill, are you at
39.
39?
It's right in back of it, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's connected, but it's two different streets.
Sir,
All right,
Counselor,
thank
it's
you.
not next door neighbor.
Is it,
No, it's
It's not
behind.
next
it's
door
not,
neighbor.
it's not next door? Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Behind it.
Land
Okay.
Okay, so you're at 1839 Wellesley?
Mount
Oh,
Union.
Mount Union.
1838 is the property.
1838,
Wellesley.
okay. Well, thanks what you're doing, young lady. Thank you for taking care of that and keeping that up. All right.
Anybody have any problem moving this forward? Councilwoman Gowdy?
I was just concerned, you said it's behind you, because we got the next door neighbor.
Oh, there's no next door neighbor, we're the two
Yeah.
corner homes. That's
Right.
the two corner properties.
Oh, okay.
And then the house next to that is dilapidated.
Yeah, because that's what they actually, would pass if it was like next door to you, but I don't know what they would do.
But see, there's
I don't
two
have no
different
idea.
It's
processes.
two different programs.
Right, so there's the neighbor next door, then there's the person in the lot straight out. She's gonna purchase the lot straight out.
Oh, okay.
Well, ma'am, thank you very much.
Did you go through all the process?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, thank you, ma'am.
Can you state for the record, Mr. Chairman, why the amount is so low? Because that's the lowest I've ever seen. And it's just a good deal for you, but explain for the record, please.
For the record, there is a process by which we allow the homeowners to be incentivized to have a proper appraisal done. And that incentive is to actually pay the $250 or estimated appraisal fee. And that will be considered as you do the purchase based on the value of the lot. In this particular case, the value of the lot was appraised at $275. Because Ms. O'Neill paid $250 already, the difference between the appraisal cost and the actual value of the lot is $25. So today, Ms. O'Neill will be considered for the lot that she is seeking at a cost of $25 as her additional cost, in addition to the $250 she's already paid. So hopefully that explains why this lot is estimated at, or correction, the amount due is the difference between the appraisal and the value at $25 to the city, if the council approves the transfer. Thank you very much, ma'am. We'll be deliberating and we'll let you know. Yes, ma'am.
All
You gotta move on to the next.
right, thank you all so much.
Great. Anybody have any problem with moving this forward?
No problem.
No problem. Thank you, ma'am. Dr. Guy?
The next one is the resolution number 03-20, a resolution authorizing the mayor to transfer to Jason Shaner under the neighbor next door ordinance and at a cost of $100 a parcel of vacant land held by the city as part of its land utilization program and located at 14005 Ardnall, East Cleveland, Ohio, 44112, permanent parcel number 671-10205, requested by Building and Housing and sponsored by Timothy R. Austin. Counselor at large.
Mr. Shaner, how are you?
How you doing?
What do you plan on doing with this great parcel if indeed you're allowed to
So
purchase
I
it?
purchased my home in 2017
Okay.
of September, and I've been maintaining this lot as far as keeping the trash picked up, the branches that fall, any debris that come onto the lot. And I know the city's been maintaining a lot too, but then there was a space of time where nobody was coming, so I would just, cut the grass when I, cut my grass. And then I seen a truck come for a while, and I thought it was the guy that must have owned the house next to the lot on the other side, but I didn't think so. So I think somebody still comes to do the grass. So I mean, I already do my grass, pay a lawn guy to do my grass, so why not pay him to do that lawn too? So I would continue to take care of the lawn and the snow removal, and it's on the driveway side of the house. So I'd like to eventually expand my driveway. The driveway's really narrow,
Right.
and car door hits the house. And the Japanese bamboo that grows on the side of the driveway, if I could expand that concrete over, maybe it won't grow as bad and outrageously as it does. Yeah.
Very invasive.
It won't die.
You will
trust
not
me.
die.
And I was gonna plant some sunflowers at the front where the stakes are at the front of to kind of divide it up into a separate space, So that's my plans for the lot. And then this is going off of memory from our previous hearing that I had. Just didn't, not come as prepared as I was going to, because the woman I spoke to earlier, she said, "You don't have to bring anything." I'm like, okay. So,
Well, again, there is a committee, a panel that cares. These things matter. We're looking at not today, we're looking at the future.
right.
And plans that's gonna, impact us and
Absolutely.
our children. And we wanna make sure that responsible, future owners of this land have it and care enough about it to take care of it. Make the
Absolutely,
community look better, feel better, do better.
Right, people
That's what we're focused
cross
on.
through that lot all the time. There's so much foot traffic through there, and if I close that off, I think that would eliminate some of the crime that happens. I mean, there was kids that were slapping metal poles on the driveway, just, like that was dangerous, whatever they had. I seen it on my camera, it wasn't like they were shooing them away, but I mean, what if someone got hurt, And that's my property, I'm liable for that. So I wanna make sure that, if this becomes my property too, I'll continue to make sure I'm liable for anything that happens, make sure everything's legal, and, make sure that I'm current, which I am, on my property taxes, and I'll continue to maintain the lot like I've been doing. I pick up garbage all the time there,
And I got one more reminder. If things work out, once the lot is yours, there's a process you have to do with the county. Are you familiar with that?
No, I'm not. This is
You
the
have
first
to
lot
combine
I've ever.
both parcels. So
Okay.
that it's clear that that's all one parcel. You have to
Okay.
go down to on Ninth and Prospect and have the title updated so that it reflects as one parcel. You have to
Okay.
combine the parcel, that's part of it. I forgot to tell you.
It's gonna merge your,
Right,
Okay, I have to merge the lot.
right.
Okay.
So make sure you do that, if indeed the council agrees to.
So I'd have to pay a surveyor to redo the.
You have to go through whatever the process
Okay,
is to
all
get
right,
that taken care
sure.
of. Just so you know, this is not the last step. There's an additional process by which we want to make sure that you remain responsible, and we appreciate your response to this point. Madam President, Madam Vice President?
No, I don't have anything.
Mr. Shanier,
Shaner.
Shaner. Just wanna thank you, I'm your neighbor right around the corner.
Okay.
So,
Very good.
just wanna,
Nice to meet
thank
you.
you, same here. Thank you for beautifying, wanting to beautify art and all.
I do, and I have seen, I just want to say that I have seen many improvements since I've been there. I've seen the street light across the street from my house reconnected, and it's been working. The street's been pot filled in spots, and I've seen some houses that have been burnt or deteriorating, been torn down. So I do appreciate that.
You have a few legends on your street. I want to give you my phone number before you leave.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
That's his war, that's his work.
All
Good
right.
stuff.
Very
Thank you,
good.
sir.
Thank you.
Anybody have anything else for Mr. Shandy for six?
Thank you for what you're doing, sir. Thank you for investing in our city.
And Mr. Shaner, the law department on the second floor will prepare the deed, and then once the process is completed, we'll prepare the deed, and then you can, proceed with the merger of the property.
Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you.
Okay. We're gonna continue with legislation. Dr. Guy, if you would.
And we have resolution number 03-20, a resolution authorizing the mayor to transfer,
You already did.
I'm sorry, moving on to resolution 04-20.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing the mayor to transfer to Lily Hunter under the neighbor next door ordinance at a cost of $100, a parcel of vacant land held by the city as part of the land utilization program and located at 13612 Milan, East Cleveland, Ohio, 44112, permanent parcel number 671-04116, requested by Building and Housing, sponsored by Timothy R. Austin, Counselor at Large.
Ms. Hunter? Good evening, ma'am. How are you?
Good, how about you?
Hello, Ms. Hunter, how are you?
Tell us something good. What's your plan for this property when things work out?
Well, I'm going to basically do what I'm doing now, take care of it, I think plant flowers and maintain it. The fencing in,
Okay. You said cut the grass, plant flowers, is it really, and you're gonna put up a fence.
yeah, I'm gonna put a fence
Okay,
in.
you got an estimated timeline?
Take it, please.
Do you have an estimated timeline if, once the property is approved, if indeed it's approved?
Well, as soon as it's approved, then I'll work on the fence. I'm working on it now, I got the people ready to do what needs to be done.
Okay.
Cause next door, I'm already fenced in. So anything I gotta do is just extend it.
What are your questions or concerns, or, once you, just like I told the other gentleman, once this transfer is complete, you have to go down to the county and the law director used the term, merge the two parcels together. So they are indeed your property, and, everything will be, that'll be the end of the process, if you will. Okay. All right, so, I'm gonna start on this side. Councilwoman Gowdy? Councilman Martin?
I've been taking care of it for the last 5 years.
5 years, let me put that note on here. 5 years taken care of, that is a commitment, and we love it.
Because, I want to look at my window and see something nice. Because otherwise, people will be dumping on the yard, dumping, children will be playing in the yard. I don't want to see that.
Ms. Hunter, thank you for maintaining that property. Good luck to you. Okay? All right.
Yes, Ms. Hunter, I'm also your neighbor. I come down Milan often. I know for a fact you have been maintaining that lot, and we really want to thank and we really appreciate you. Look forward to you having it. Sorry I don't have any updated cards. This is my number. So we're gonna ask you to come back at the regular council meeting.
I have to come back in
Just one more time.
with this.
Yes.
Okay. Council Vice President, any thoughts?
Well, what point in time do I have to,
It's gonna be
get
two more
this
council
merger
meetings.
together?
After the property is transferred to you, the law director's gonna prepare a deed for you. She's gonna tell you what you need to do with it at the last step in the process. After everything's transferred to you, then you go down to the county and take care of that.
How long is
The
it?
approval
It's gonna
won't
be
happen until March. When
at
we
least
get
two
the
more
reads,
council
all
meetings.
the approvals will happen in council approves, it'll be in March, first Tuesday in March.
Okay,
And then give us a couple weeks after that to prepare the deed,
okay.
the lot department.
Okay. Great, thank you, ma'am, that's all we have.
You're on your way, so.
Everybody agree with moving the legislation forward?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm good, I'm finished.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you
so
very
much.
much.
Y'all have a good evening.
Thank you.
Sure.
Hey,
Yeah,
Dr. Guy?
the last resolution is 05-20. A resolution authorizing the mayor to transfer to Jacqueline L. King under the neighbor next door ordinance at a cost of $100, a parcel of vacant land held by the city as part of its land reutilization program and located at 1744 Coit, East Cleveland, Ohio, for 4112, permanent parcel number 673-04-048, requested by Building and Housing, sponsored by Timothy R. Austin, Councilor at Large. We have Stefan King here representing Jacqueline King.
He's a son.
Yes. How y'all doing
Yes, sir.
today?
How you
Great,
doing, sir?
how are you?
Very well.
Okay, you heard the routine, what you gonna do with this property?
Keep maintaining it like
Or
I've
what
been.
is Jacqueline King who's giving you permission out to speak on
Yeah,
behalf?
my boss is gonna make sure I take care of what I've been doing for almost the last 10 years.
Okay, that's
I
your
did
wife?
not- That's my mom.
Oh, that's your mom, okay.
That's my mother and father's,
Okay.
you know, in my house since I was born in that house, so still my house.
So continue, what do you use it for right now?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nice and clean and well maintained. He knows. Yeah, he knows what it looks like. Very well. I'm gonna keep cutting the grass, making sure that it's perfect and everything's clean for me and my neighbor next door. You know, they deserve that. It's been a wreck, you know, for some years at times, you know, like a haunted house next door, so now it's beautified.
The lot, there's no house on the parcel right now, right?
No.
Okay,
No, not at all.
okay. All right,
They get cut twice a week.
phenomenal,
Yeah.
okay. You heard the discussion about once the lot is transferred,
Mhm.
you get your deed down to the county.
Shamandra told me.
Oh, I like it like that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna make sure we do a better job at in providing information, not just solely for your benefit, but for the benefit of those that are out in the, at large, if you will.
Thank you.
So, concern, Madam Vice President?
I don't have any.
For the
My
president?
concerns, lifelong resident of East Cleveland,
Yes.
already maintained a lot. We
Thank you,
appreciate it.
brother.
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
no problem.
No, it's not.
Sir, thank you very much. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
First Tuesday of February.
Excuse me?
First Tuesday of February be the next regular council meeting. We just need you back that one last time.
Okay.
March.
March,
We already in February.
March 2nd?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
First Tuesday.
6:30?
6:30, yes, sir.
Be there.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody have any problem moving this forward?
Thank you, Don.
Move it. Okay, the part that I like, remarks and requests of the public, 3 minutes.
Hold on, get the timer up.
Hold on a second, sir, we don't get the timer ready.
Oh, no, I need a couple extra minutes. I'm here to go.
Okay, go.
I want to start off by talking about, I heard Mr. Austin mention some things about contracts, but this is contracts and properties. And I do see a little more activity in this committee since you've taken over, Mr. Austin, so we are thankful for that. But I know we have a lot of contracts going on in this city, so I want to know, why don't I ever see, I know most of it is from the previous chair of contracts and property, but I never see contracts. Like, we always see property, but I don't see contracts coming from this committee and people discuss what the contracts for and all that good stuff. So I want to start, if that's well, not if it's possible, because it's the duty of the council that all contracts should at least come from this committee. So I can't wait to start seeing all the contracts come in front of the committee and the people who were getting the contracts and all that too. The neighborhood next door. Okay. When they merged the properties, if somebody can answer, I appreciate. But when they merge the properties, will they pay two different, so merge means one, so that, will their, property, whatever they're paying now, will increase since they're merging it and they're adding another parcel? Oh, and, yeah, taxes, yeah, will increase a little bit. And, I just wanted to advise the, council too, like, the people who've been taking care of these lots, it's good, they really deserve it, but I don't think we should really just give it away to just everybody, because, and I'm not saying that that's what's happening, because it seems we haven't even been giving enough away, but I just want to make you aware, let's be careful about giving the land away, because these lots should be redeveloped, there should be a house built in the future and stuff like that. We just don't want to, you know, give all the lots away. But if someone's been taking care of it, they really deserve these lots. And that last guy, I mean, I seen a Google picture from 5 years ago, and the lot is crisp, and I'm sure he played a part in taking care of it. So when they do take care of these lots, I'm glad that we can give it to them, because they have been sacrificing tons of money. All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council. Kelvin Davis, 13021. My question is, when do Building and Housing put out a blighted housing list for those that are looking for blighted houses in our neighborhood? Second question, when we do our council meetings in general and asking for residents to basically inform the council of drug houses, is there some way we cannot let their address that they're saying, because the address that they're saying that the drug house is, can that be either edited or asked privately due to the fact of safety of the person that's selling on the houses? It's kind of looking out for our next door neighbor and all of that. So I need that kind of like, can we resolve that later? Thank you.
I think the law director will take that.
I'm concerned in reference to some of the things that was kind of articulated by Justin. We cannot continue just to give property, or basically give property away for property, to say it's prime property. Secondly, in order for us to continue to remain a city and also to have revenue coming in, it's predicated on the census as well as tax base, the tax basis as well. And if we do not start building something and rehabbing something, we will become a village, and you think you're gonna get those $2 million or $1 million and a $500,000 or whatever from federal government, you're gonna find yourself getting back back in the day when it was getting $1 million, and I was hoping the day that we would get millions of dollars. So it's gonna resort back to that if we do not have a vision for this city. Now, speaking of people getting property, and there's quite a few, that's all on this list. I've been maintaining property next door to me over 26 years, going all the way back to Wallace Davis, when he raised the property next door to me, have become Wallace Davis, Unanwar, Eric Brewer,
Straight the Goggins.
Norton.
Gary Norton, now Brandon King. That's over 26 years. And it should be given to me. But, not whatever, since given away. And there is no lot unbuildable. All lots are buildable. It may not be, you can go up this way, we may not have it, you want to spread a mile long, But you suddenly can build up, all lots are buildable, because there was houses there prior to. And so, when we say, oh, they're not buildable, that is not true. That is not true. So, you can take that to the bank. And I see people squeezing houses in houses, and they even got little houses now. It's just, I mean, little bitty houses. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Tiny houses.
Oh, yeah, tiny houses.
Right, don't mess with Mr. O'Malley's time.
So I just want you to be cognizant of that as you begin to talk about, getting rid of the property. You have to look out, and that's your job, to see that, we're doing census. And our money is predicated on the census. How many people we have in the city? If we're going to remain a city or revert back to a village.
Thank you, Mr.
We have done that. We have bounced to and fro before.
Thank you.
So I can give you the history of the city.
Thank you.
And so that's what we're here.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Well, thank y'all very much for your comments and or concerns. Today we're gonna do it in reverse, if you would. Madam Law Director, I don't wanna miss out on the opportunity to hear from
For the
the
mayor?
administration.
Okay.
Yes, you can go first.
Thank you. Not to take exception with what Mr. May said, but to take exception to what Mr. May said. In 1911, the city of East Cleveland was incorporated. The houses built in 1920 required less of a portion of acreage than the houses that would be lawful to build in 2020. We've come 100 years, and in doing so, we've changed a lot of requirements, building codes, violations are different. So the acreage, which defines a buildable lot in 1920, we have to come into this century, and that is not the same acreage that is required for 2020. So in the kindest way I can present it, I have to inform the council that the lots in the next door neighbor program are insufficient at this point in this century to build a house. And that's why we have the next door neighbor program that Mrs. Brewer was kind enough to initiate.
That wasn't initiated by her.
Well, she's the one that sponsored the legislation that allowed us to do this. So I just wanted to clarify and to elucidate the reason, I'm using your word, why we have the next door neighbor program and why some of the fundamental requirements and regulations now inform what we can do in terms of building a house.
But that's why they have this authority to,
Not to break the law.
that's not breaking the law.
Thank you
Thank
for
you,
your
Madam
kind
Director.
indulgence.
Amen. Okay. Councilwoman Gowdy, we're gonna start with you this evening.
Yeah, I was looking at the city of East Cleveland Department of Building and Housing and the advisory committee, neighborhood. Who's all on that committee? Because I see some names is familiar, Hank Smith and Jimmy Polk and like that. And I thought that for the records, who is on that committee?
That's not-
It's more than just,
It is.
I know it's more than just Dale
And you can
and Wallace.
So I'm sure the law director and the building and housing director can actually provide you the information you
Could
want.
you state for the
On the
record? who's-
NAC, the
Yeah.
Neighborhood Advisory Committee,
Yeah, the neighborhood advisory committee.
I know Jimmy Pope and Mr. Hank Smith are always there, but a full list, I noticed I was reviewing it in 2014, and there were 7 people in 2014 on the committee.
So how many is,
But those are, those were the people in 2014. I really, in terms of a full list, you can get that from Solandra Wallace. She's always there.
because I'm familiar with Chevelle Hart was on this committee too, so
Yes.
I wonder why he ain't never came up, or do they come up and express themselves to the housing, to council? I really want to know why haven't they make no appearance into council, that's all.
I want to share a thought on that. There is a packet that each of the person that applied for either the purchase of a lot or the Neighbor Next Door program. And once that packet is prepared, the neighborhood advisory committee, they actually convene and discuss it. They convene once a month to actually go through the packet, and they have been, I guess, how can I say, authorized to kind of sanitize some of the want and desires of the future landowner. So more to follow. That information should come out of building and housing directly, and they can advise you or give you a copy of that list, and you can kind of go talk to the folks that aren't. They're not required to come before council, and when they do, they come by legislation, not actual appearance. And that's my perspective.
Because if they have anything to do with the housing, that's what I was asking, in their opinion about
Recommendation, that's it.
recommendation.
That's all they
Do they
do.
get paid? Is this paid?
I don't know if that's a paid position.
Okay.
That's just a committee.
All right.
Okay.
Council, I have a list of all the commissions and
Okay.
committees and everything, so I can get that.
Please do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And briefly, if I can cogitate. I think Omaze is on point with the building and the rehab. And I know no one wants to live near a blighted house, and the house needs to be torn down. But there's some situations where the house can be rehabbed, and some buildings can be rehabbed, and I think we have to be open to that. I'm also reflecting on the fact that we had Gus Sprinkles out about a year or so ago, and I asked him point blank, is there money for rehab? And he said there is money for rehab. So we have to be aware of that, and I suggest everyone kind of contact him in terms of doing that. Building is going to take place in East Cleveland.
Amen.
And it's starting this year. There's gonna, and as I've been saying for years, as you know, Brother Austin, we have land, we have location slips, so it's only a matter of time. We know developers are here, we know they want to do it, so they're gonna build and develop. Because we do have land and we do have location. So I agree with the philosophy of we can't tear everything down. Some things, I know some houses have been torn down, well, I thought in great condition when we tore them down. So we need to be very aware of what we do and how we do it. And also, if some places can be rehabbed, we need to do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And the Vice President?
I just would like to see how much property has transferred in the last 3 years, so I guess I have to call the county land bank, to see how much property was actually transferred, in the city of East Cleveland.
Last year, they gave us a long list of a lot of transfers. So they may be able to resurrect that list and add to it what's transferred since the last time they gave us the list. So building and housing, actually, they do have that information.
Okay.
And I think we found and I would like to kind of sit down with you and kind of see if we can do some discovery learning and see if there are things that are outside of what we've already agreed to, where are those things that, and how are they concentrated? Go ahead, man. It's your
That's
time.
it.
Okay.
That's it.
Cool.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to thank my colleagues, Dr. Guy, Madam Law Director, Drew, our great cameraman. Most importantly, I want to thank you all for coming out. I mean what I say from the heart when I say it's cold and it's raining outside. You could have stayed home. Well, I see Mr. Omaze was late. I really thank you all for coming. Like I always say, the committee meetings are very, very, very important. Very, very, very important. And as you can see, it's more relaxed, get to stop us and ask questions. And check on your health interest, rights, and needs. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir. As we begin to close, I want to make an effort to at least answer some of the questions or concerns that were raised in our meeting. Prior to executing some of the contract issues, we want to make sure we identify the need for a contract transaction. A lot of things that we have agreed to in the budget have already been approved, and they're reoccurring events, whether they're payment of an outstanding agreement from a lease, from a 10-year lease. We don't need to review that because we've already agreed to the 10-year lease. There are contracts, I believe, that have missed the council table in a respectful way. That's the best way I can say it. So what I would like to do is, first we put out education, information, and then we make sure that they adhere to the law. Us as a body, we understand where the left and right limits are, and then we can make those things enforceable to the right body. And we don't have the authority to enforce, but we do have the authority to inform and advise in the event that there's a breach of those left and right limits. We talked about the Competition and Contracting Act, where that competition should be posted, and how do our residents take advantage of some of those things based on their skills and or qualifications, if you will. Anti-Kickback Act, that means if you win a contract in this city, that means you have won it fair and square, clear. You don't owe anyone anything, period. There's no negotiating about it. That's it. It's your contract, and do with it what you will. And if you need help with that, please let me know, and I'll refer you to the right ethical organization to get that taken care of. Okay, there's, again, some of the endeavors, they have been budgeted, forecasted, and they are expected to be executed because we agreed at some point. As far as contracts are concerned, once you have merged the two parcels, you're gonna get one tax bill. So and the revenue from those additional parcels, they're still gonna come back to the city. Maybe not as much as it would if it was a $300,000 or $400,000 home. However, the revenue will still go through. A large part goes to our schools. The other part will make it through the county and back to the city. So it's not going to be free. There will be an increase to all those that sign up for the program. Building and housing, they do have a list of available parcels by street. The list is an encyclopedia. So if you have a specific block or street that you're interested in, ask for a copy of that list of available properties on that street, and the building housing persons can take care of that. The Neighbor Next Door program is not meant for building. If you want to purchase a lot for building, that is a process outside of the Neighbor Next Door program. So the Neighbor Next Door program is, in my opinion, built to enable, enhance, and or establish something that would help the community thrive, whether it's the flowering or a vegetable garden, things that would help the community thrive, either aesthetically or through experience with helping our children learn and grow. As far as rehab, I do want to explore a responsible rehab program where we put aside a little money as a certification. I'm not even going to call it a test. To certify that within the city of East Cleveland, we have the capacity to actually recognize a property on a phenomenal block that requires a little bit of repair and rehabilitation, and put that property on the market for sale so that the city can realize some benefit and profit, not just through the tax base, but through actually having successfully rehab and place the property on the market and got the return and allow them this process to grow, where we can actually do internal rehab in our city. And making sure we get the best community development corporation to execute that rehab. And I got one more note about land and location. I say, as a resident, everybody need to understand what land and location means. That means that when you take a look down the west or south end of Euclid Avenue, there's a community out there thriving. They're doing all kinds of creative stuff that we need to start incorporating here, such as, instead of just selling everybody the land, leasing some of this land. And that, you know, some of the larger corporations wanna come into the city and say, this is our spot. It's okay. It's gonna be your spot for 30, 50, 100 years. But the city will always maintain, this is city of East Cleveland boundary from one end to the other. And if we start thinking like a lot of the corporations think, they never really relinquish their mineral rights, nor the actual land itself. So we have to start thinking a little more forward, because in the future, we want to make sure that the city of East Cleveland can always thrive. So there's some things that I am able to share with you later on. But yeah, there is some benefit to, you know, having the right group of people and the team all moving in the right direction to, you know, help us realize the vision for East Cleveland in the future. Because I'm telling you right now, y'all can't see how bubbly and excited I am inside. But I'm so excited because I'm getting so smart about what we can do as a city. I'm jumping out of my seat. And I'm counting on you, residents, to help with that. I am. I'm not gonna.
Can I hold you down, Brother Austin?
I'm not gonna roll. You know, and at this point, I want to say thank you to those that came out. Again, we need you. We need you, and I want the voices to be heard. And I do respect and appreciate the information that makes me go do a little bit more research and continues to grow. And I want to inspire others to do your research and continue to grow and be responsible. This is the Contract and Property Committee, and I promise I'm going to act like I own it. And when I say that, I mean that I'm going to be committed to doing the things I'm supposed to do on this committee. And if you would allow me, somebody to, you know, I'd be ready to entertain a journalist. Yeah.
Time is 7:35.
Great. Thank y'all. It's 5 minutes over. Thank y'all very much for coming out.
Thank you.